Hello, good morning, kindergarten. Today is Tuesday, September 15th, and it is time for a very, very fun read aloud. And we're again reading all types of books about kindergarten. We read a lot last week, and we're reading about a good five this week. So let's get started with our book for Tuesday. Now, today we're reading a book called Kindergarten Kids. And there's something that I noticed that's a little bit different about this book. So, one thing I notice is when I look at the front cover, and remember this is the front cover, when I look at the front cover, I'm not seeing drawings or pictures. I actually see photographs. I see photographs. And I see one, two, three, four. There's four photographs. And I'm thinking, what does that mean? Good readers are paying attention to the cover. Again, this is the front cover, and I see that there are photographs. Very cool. Now, let's remember, good readers know this is the front cover, but good readers also know this is the back cover. And hey, there is a picture of the photograph on the back. Now I'm thinking, I wonder if we're going to see photographs in our story today. So again, front cover, back cover. And I see at the top, there are these words up here. That's the title. Usually the title is at the top of the book. Not always, but normally. Kindergarten Kids. Maybe you can read it with me. Kindergarten Kids. All right. So I'm here today to read you this wonderful story, Kindergarten Kids. And I want you thinking to yourselves, what are they doing that maybe you're doing in my class, if you're in Miss Brennan's class, if you're in Mrs. Richardson's class, or if you're in Miss Cook's class? What are they doing that you're also doing? Or what are they doing that maybe you're not doing? Take a moment to think about those things as you're hearing the story. So again, front cover, back cover, the title. And our story today is by Ellen Senisi, and she is the author, which means she wrote the words, and maybe she took the photographs. We're going to find that out. Let's get started. There are 21 kids in room 8 at Lincoln School. Before they were old enough to come to kindergarten, they used to wonder, what is it like? Will I have any friends? Now they can tell other kids what it's like to be in kindergarten. So, just like you all, now that you're in kindergarten, you can tell your friends or mommies and daddies and aunties and uncles what kindergarten is like for you. School starts when the bell rings. The kids come into the classroom to say hello to their friends and to their teacher, Mrs. Simone. Mrs. Simone says good morning to everyone. Let's keep reading. There's a lot to do in kindergarten. The class gets started right away, and Mrs. Simone says, everyone choose a learning center. But Marquise says, Mrs. Simone, I don't know which one to choose. The rice center is out, says Dominique to Marquise. That's where I want to work. Dominique likes how the rice feels when it runs through her hands. So I notice that the teacher is greeting everybody as they come in to the classroom. I notice that the teacher is greeting everyone as they come into the classroom. Think about this for a moment. What do you notice? What do you notice? Let's keep reading. Everyone likes to play in the house corner. Richard, here's your breakfast, says Levon. Working and playing in the learning centers is Rochelle's favorite part of the day. She might work on the computer with Ahmad, or she might play mommies in the house corner with Kayla. So take a moment to think, because good readers think about things and good readers answer questions. What are the children doing? So they're in kindergarten just like you. But what are they doing right now? Take a look at the photographs. Take a look at the photographs. What are they doing? I know you're going to figure it out with those big smart brains. Mrs. Simone is going to be a real mommy. She's going to have twins, said Marshane. Mrs. D is the teacher's helper. She doesn't come every day, but when she does, everyone's happy to see her. She always smiles at me, says Michael. She likes me. So that's their teacher, Mrs. Simone, and she's going to have twins, and that's the teacher's helper, Mrs. D. Michael and Megan like to play with blocks. There are many blocks in our room, says Megan. There are big blocks and little blocks. Yolanda uses the pattern blocks. See what I made, Mrs. Simone, says Christina. Everyone has a favorite center. Kenny and Richard like playing in the water tub with William, who is visiting today. Stephen says, sand is fun to look at and feel. Brittany loves to dress up and pretend to be somebody else. Suddenly, the principal's voice comes over the loudspeaker on the classroom wall. Our principal is Mrs. Slack, so she makes announcements too. But we're not in the building, so that's okay. Will everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? But if we were in school, Mrs. Slack would be reading our school creed, and you would say it after her. But they're saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I love saying the pledge. It makes me feel grown up, says Shakoya. When the pledge is over, our teacher says, you may continue. And then we start playing again. So they stop what they're doing, they say the pledge, and then they go back to playing. And just like if we were at school, we would stop what we were doing, say the creed, and then go back to our work or go back to playtime. After a while, the teacher flicks the lights on and off. This means it's time for everyone to clean up. I could put the blocks away all by myself, says Shakoya. I think cleanup is more fun at school than it is at home. Mrs. D, can you help me finish the puzzle? Asked Kayla. Uh-oh, said Mrs. Simone. I think we need the broom at the sand table. Ooh, look at that huge mess. After we clean up, we sit together on the rug, says Kenny. Mrs. Simone takes out the attendance cards. She calls out names to see who is in class. The girls' names are on the pink cards and the boys' names are on the blue cards. So I noticed something, and I wonder if you noticed it too, that Mrs. Simone is taking attendance. And I know that in my classroom, in Mrs. Richardson's classroom, and Miss Cook's classroom, they're also taking attendance. We just do it a little bit differently. So she is using cards, but I know in my class, I have the students raise their hands. I like when it's my turn to be the helper, says Rachel. I help my teacher put the date on the calendar. Next, the class talks together. Everyone wants to talk at once, but Mrs. Simone has said each child takes their turn. We talk about the things we made the day before, says Brittany, and the teacher tells us what our work is for the rest of the day. My teacher shows me how to do things, says James. She teaches us letters and all about following rules. Mrs. Simone always makes me feel better when I get hurt, says Levon. I like Mrs. Simone because she says funny things, says Jessica. Soon, Mrs. Simone gets the class started on their work. Everyone works on coloring projects together. Megan works very carefully. That looks good, Rochelle, says Scott. Yolanda finishes coloring very quickly. Sadaf and Richard color plants and seeds in their coloring book. Kenny and Brittany color the letter S. So I want you to stop and think, because again, good readers ask questions, good readers answer questions. What are these children doing so far? What are they doing? Let's take a closer look. Look at the photographs. What are the children doing? Let's keep moving. A lot of the classwork is about the alphabet. The kids practice the alphabet many ways. When we learned the letter Q, I made a queen's crown. See her with her crown? We painted with Q-tips too, said Markeith. And we sat around a quilt, said Marshane. So what letter did they learn this day? Who remembers? What letter did I just say for queen and quilts and Q-tips? What letter is that? Stop and think. The class practiced writing the letter R. R. By tracing it with red paint. For the letter S, S. The class read a book about stone soup, and then they made some. Yolanda helped to wash the stones. We washed them lots of times until they got clean, she says. The soup was good, but we didn't eat the stones, says Levon. So look, they made stone soup. After all that work, Marshane is ready to rest. It's a good thing that it's snack time. Put your papers in your mailboxes, said Mrs. Simone. Before snack time, we go to the bathroom and we wash our hands. We go to the bathroom and we wash our hands. Snack time is a good time to be with friends. Guess what? Said Shakoya. I lost a tooth. Do you think your mother will let me come to your house to play? Ahmad asked Brittany. So this is Ahmad and this is Brittany. So let's look back at Shakoya. What just happened with her? I'll give you a hint. I think she's going to get a visit from somebody very special. What happened to Shakoya? Sometimes kids have problems with each other, and Mrs. Simone does not let any student hurt or tease the other student. So it looks like somebody's trying to hurt the other student by pulling at his jacket. That's not very nice. You do time out when you don't follow the rules, says Richard. That means you sit by yourself. You can't be with the other kids until the teacher says you can. So let's think about that again. We see that Richard is in timeout. How does a student get into timeout? Why would a student be put into timeout? Take a moment to think. Take about 10 seconds. Why would a student be put in timeout? There's more work to do after snack time. It may be science or math. For one science lesson, everyone planted seeds and took care of them. Soon the plants grew from the seeds. Watch out, Scott, says Sadaf. That's too much water. Oh no, you don't want to put too much water on your plants or they'll die. It's time for math. The class practices counting things. James likes to use the bunny counters. We count money too, says Richard. Real money. So now I want to stop and think, what are they learning about now? Take a good look at the photographs. A good look. What have they been learning about now? What have they been learning about now? Sundays, the class does art projects after snack time. Michael, you're making a wonderful picture, says Mrs. Simone. Sometimes everyone works together on a big art project. One time we made our own paper, says Jessica. We learn music in kindergarten too, says Rochelle. We sing together or make music with rhythm sticks. Wow, that looks like a lot of fun. Most of the time, school is fun, but sometimes kids get tired. Sometimes they're not sure what to do. And sometimes they just have a bad day. And that's okay. Sometimes you don't know what to do. Sometimes you have a bad day. But if someone has a problem, it's all forgotten when the teacher says, line up to go outside. On the playground, everyone shouts and laughs. The kindergarten kids jump and run and climb and slide and swing. After the class comes back inside, Mrs. Simone says, time to settle down. Then she reads a story. Sometimes we tell stories to each other, says Lavon. Everyone gets all excited again, and when it's time to go home, the class lines up at the door and the kids tell each other jokes. Ooh, tell them lots of jokes. School is over when the bell rings. Move the line, says Richard. We're going home now. Bye, Mrs. Simone. Goodbye, teacher, says Markeith. It was a great day. So, my last question is, how do the kids feel about kindergarten? It's the end of their day. They're all finished. How do they feel about kindergarten? Again, this story was all about kindergarten kids, and we saw lots and lots of photographs, no pictures or drawings, and just kind of thinking to yourself, how is this like your class? How is this like Miss Cook's class? How is this like Miss Richardson's class? How is it like my class, whichever class you're in? How is it like your class? How are these students like you? How are they not like you? Take a moment to think. And how do they feel at the end of the day? Well, I hope you enjoyed that story. There are many more stories to come this week, so keep on working your hardest. And I would like to close us out with a cheer, but make sure to pat yourself in the back and say, good job, me, for your hard work of listening and answering my questions. And I think the cheer that I'm going to do is the hamburger cheer. So if you know this cheer, you can do it along with me. Put your hands just like this and get ready. Sizzle, 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 not done yet. Sizzle, 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 not done yet. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. Well done. Excellent work, everybody. Have a great, great Tuesday. Keep working your hardest. I know you're doing great. Bye for now.